This is the Point of Life podcast with Reverend Ray Moore.
I'm Reverend Ray Moore. Rev Ray, as my friends call me, and I consider myself to be a spiritual mechanic. And what does that mean? Well, the body is like a vehicle that spirit works in and through. And a lot of people are trying to drive this vehicle on a bumpy road, let's say. And it's a great analogy for the spiritual path. What I like to do is to assist people in training the spirit to handle the body, become the embodiment of their spirituality. And it's a fun and never a dull moment path, I'm sure, for a lot of people. In the podcast, we're going to be talking about different tools and techniques, concepts, constructs, and the like to further you on your spiritual path. So we're going to be doing a 4-part series on manifesting. I call these the 4 pillars of manifestation. And they are, the first pillar is, of course, intention, which we're going to be talking about today. Then attention. That's a very big pillar in manifesting. The third pillar, of course, is intuition. And the fourth is integrity. With these 4 pillars, manifesting becomes simpler. So let's take a deep breath and ground ourselves. I recommend grounding from the first chakra, which is at the base of the spine, and just drop a line of energy from the base of your spine all the way down to the center of the planet. A few deep breaths. And then would you notice the screen that you're watching this on, or the speaker that you're listening this through, and notice where they are in relationship to you. And would you be right behind your eyes and right between your ears? And instead of looking at the screen or at the speakers, would you allow the picture or the words to come to you rather than going to them? It's kind of like in comics when I was growing up. They would have a picture of somebody looking at art on the wall, and they'd be this dash with this arrow going towards that, showing that that's where they're looking. Rather, allow this to come to you rather than looking at it. See if that makes a difference for you. And give yourself a nice deep breath. Intention is a very powerful thing. Intention is whatever you desire, whatever you want to happen, to have, to occur. And intention is the first step in manifesting anything, creating any kind of a mock-up. A mock-up is just a visual representation, mental image picture of what it is that you desire. Intention is kind of like the target. That's what we're looking for. Intention is a very powerful force. The power of intention is very discernible. What we're talking about on a religious level is what they call faith. Now, faith is a very powerful energy, and faith moves mountains. Having an intention will direct you toward something or someone or somewhere physically. It's been said, I think Mike Dooley has trademarked the phrase, thoughts become things, and it's true. A lot of people have intentions for things to happen and the opposite occurs. And we're going to get into that a little bit later on. When we use our intention in a positive direction, we call that working our faith. If we put our intention or create an intention in the negative, that's what we call worry. So a lot of people are either looking towards something or resisting something. The funny thing about the ego, and we'll talk a little bit about the ego, but a lot of people wonder, why do we have an ego? If the ego is so bad, why do we even have one? Why did God create an ego? Well, you need an ego in order to be here in this realm. The ego has this knack of attracting to itself that which it deems positive, pushing away from itself or resisting that which it deems negative, and that which it's neutral to, it pays no mind. The law of attraction states that like attracts like. It says that opposites attract. The third law of attraction is these first two laws are equally powerful. So if we only had like attracts like, then you'd have positive over here, negative over here. All the positives would be in one area, all the negatives would be in another area. And then opposites would attract, they'd come together and be one thing. But that's not the case. So what keeps them floating is neutrality. Being neutral allows you to see what's positive without judgment, see what's negative without judgment. So the ego attracts what's positive, it repels what's negative, what it's neutral to, it pays no mind. It doesn't matter what the ego deems as positive and what the ego deems as negative. To the ego, there's no difference. If you find, and I'm sure we've all known people in our lives who have look at the world in a negative aspect. Well, what we deem negative, that which they see is deemed positive, and that's why the ego attracts it. Positive and negative are judgments. These are, you can get really out there on deciding what's positive and negative. But you really don't have to, because the ego will do that for you. And these are all based on the mental image pictures that you have in your aura and in your chakras and in your mind, in your spirit, in your soul. So when we're dealing with intentions, what is your intention? The point of life is to give it meaning. What's your point? Are you someone who is looking for the perfect job, the perfect house, the perfect wealth, abundance? Are you looking for a carefree lifestyle? Are you looking for a loving relationship, or how to create an even more loving relationship? Are you looking for a new car, new whatever? What's your intention? Once you have the intention clearly defined, then you will put your attention on it. Your attention, your ability to pay attention, is one of the most powerful aspects of you there is. How many billions, trillions of dollars are spent in advertising trying to capture your attention? Your attention goes where your energy flows. If you put your attention on your intention, that's where your creative energy will start to go. And things will start shifting in the universe, and your angels and spirit guides will start helping you to manifest. What people call intuition, I like to define intuition as instinctively knowing. Intuition is instinctively knowing. Now, we are creatures of instinct, and we are creatures of knowing. And so you have knowing, seeing, saying. You have your survival instinct, emotional instinct, the instinct to act. And it's the body-being communication where the instincts and the knowing work together to create intuition. This is how intuition works. Body-being communication. The fourth pillar in this manifesting is integrity. Do you really know what it is you want, and are you acting on it? They say in order to find your truth, a great way of finding out what is true for you is act on what you believe and then watch what happens. And if you act on what you believe and it serves you, you have found your truth. Continue acting on it. If you act on what you believe and it doesn't serve you, look for what does serve you. Stop doing that. Because if you're acting on what you believe and it doesn't serve you, there's no integrity in that. That is buying into somebody else's truth. And not everybody's truth will work for you. Your body works on your brand of soul energy. You can go slow, and that's what happens on the spiritual path. Is a lot of people will start the spiritual path and they'll plateau, and then they'll rest, and then they'll do some more growth, and then rest, and then do some more growth. Anyway, so the four pillars: intention, having faith, attention, seeing the vision, intuition, knowing how to navigate yourself there, and integrity. Being honest with yourself. You're on your path, you're off the path. Do you want to stay on your path? Do you want to stay off your path? And it's perfectly okay to be off your path every now and again. The body needs a rest. But the more you can get into your body and work through it as a tool, the quicker you're going to get to where you want to go. If you have any questions or comments about this, feel free to leave them in the comment section, and I will do my darndest to answer them and get back to you. And I guess the latest fad is to say, make sure you like and click and smash that subscribe button. But do what you want. It's your life. We'll see you next time as we break down these four pillars into more usable chunks. Have a great day.
This is the Point of Life podcast with Reverend Ray Moore.